right. I think we are recording.
Hey. Welcome to our podcast about the systems and the games we play and how those inspire the ones we make. I'm CJ.
And I'm Sam, and this is Systems in Play.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Episode 13, folks. Welcome.
Welcome.
A few things off the top. Sorry if I sound nasally. I got over COVID last week, and this whole week has been me fighting the post-COVID funk. And it's not been fun. So we're going to do a bit of a lax episode, because I was supposed to write the script for this one, but I didn't. So,
and who can blame you? He sent me the first draft of the script that he wrote, and it was just a picture of spaghetti. And I was like, maybe we'll take this one off, Chief.
Like, I swear, it's not what I wrote on the text document. How did this happen?
Yeah, he somehow sent me a text document that was an image of spaghetti. It was impressive.
Plus, I just wanted to sort of try something different. Something more laid back. So we're going to go back to the first few episodes, honestly, where we always started with, so what have you been doing, Sam? What games you been playing?
Who, me? Well, I've been on a Minecraft kick for the past couple of weeks. I think it all started when I think it all started when the Minecraft trailer for the movie came out.
There's a movie about Minecraft? What?
No, there's not. I'm Steve.
Oh, I'm so excited to see Jason Momoa mining and crafting. It's going to be so fun.
We're going to mine, we're going to craft, and I think like when that episode or the trailer came out, my feed just got filled with a ton of random Minecraft video recommendations. And I'm like, oh yeah, I love Minecraft. And so I started watching Let's Play in the background at work. And
that'll do it.
It's like, oh wait, I could go do this. This could be me. And so I started playing Minecraft again.
Hell yeah.
CJ, are you a survival guy or are you a creative mode guy?
I'm survival through and through. I don't play too much creative, honestly. What about you?
I'm a creative mode guy. I'm gonna be real, and this is showing my very smooth and soft brain. For a long time, I didn't know that survival mode was a thing. I thought Minecraft was just Legos, and that's why everybody liked it. And then I played. That was like when I was a kid, and then I played more recently, and I was like, oh wait, this is not how anybody actually plays. I mean, I'm not going to say anybody, but I think the vast majority of people play survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. That's the impression I get, though. But I play with my fiance. She likes survival mode, so we play survival mode, and we had a world that we've been playing in. We'd played in for a while. So jump back into that. Already had like a big house built, had like a couple of decent mines, and just kind of, well, if I'm going to be completely honest, like the entire time we played, solid like 45 minutes of trying to get it working at first, get both of our accounts synced up and everything. Then after that, it was going down into the mines, trying to like find all of our stuff we had done before. So we had a big mine, huge mine.
Oh yeah.
And it was in the side of this mountain. It had started from a cave, a really deep cave system. And I am so stupid. I was like, I just did not make it easy on myself at all to find this place again. And I vaguely knew which direction it was, and the only thing I had done to make it easy on myself to find it is I nerd pulled my way up really high on a bunch of dirt blocks, and then I put a shiny gold block at the very top so I could find it. And it is on the top of a mountain, so it was it was possible to I'm not gonna say it was easy.
That's classic. Like, you're always thinking in movies, like, how'd you get lost in the forest? How'd you get lost in this mine shaft? Go play Minecraft.
Yeah.
It's really fucking easy. It's actually really fucking easy to get lost.
It really is. And it's not just that. It's not just like making the entrance hard to find. I didn't build stairs. I didn't build anything. That literally, to find the set of stairs that I did build, you had to go into the cave and you had to make this weird right turn, duck down under this little shelf that leads you down like a series of cliffs that you're essentially jumping off of into what inevitably leads into a pseudo set of stairs, which will eventually take you to our underground door. I'm just like, why would I have done this to myself? What was I thinking? Why would I make this so difficult? And the whole point, was like, let's go down and get all of our stuff out of that mine. That way we don't have to like fuss with it anymore. We were going to start a new mine, and we finally get down there, and there's nothing. I'd already taken all of the stuff out of there. Then
it's the trope of finally finding the X on the map and realizing that the real adventure was the friends you made along the way.
Yeah. We did make one friend, which was a chicken that I had put underground in our house a long time ago. I built him like a little, literally 4x4 enclosure.
Oh yeah.
He was still there. I guess chickens just don't die.
No.
And then we had the only other thing we had down in the shaft was a bunch of eggs. So we threw them in his enclosure, and every single one of them hatched a baby chicken. So now there are like 5 chickens in this tiny 4x4 enclosure.
That is the optimal way to farm chickens, is to shove them into a tiny square.
It's a little bit of animal cruelty, but
optimization, you mean?
So we're coming back out of the cave, and we're coming back out of the cave. We're like, let's find another place around here, and it'll be a little bit closer to the entrance to the mine. We'll set up like a small house. It'll be like our like a relay station between our two areas of operation. And so it's getting late. We throw some beds down, sleep through the night, pick up the beds. Again, we're right next to the cave. We go out, we find this beautiful little beach, has like a nice island off the shore.
Yes.
Like, let's go look at that island. We go out, and there are like 5 drowns out there, and we die.
Oh,
and
a tragic end.
If you recall, picked up the bed that we slept in.
Oh no!
So we got reset to spawn.
Oh no!
Because I'm stupid.
How tragic.
And the area we spawned in originally was the worst spawn point I've ever had in Minecraft. It is at the entrance to this massive cave, and immediately spawn at night. There are like 6 or 7 zombies, some zombie villagers, a witch, several creepers, a couple endermen. The initial spawn point. It was a nightmare, and we just kept dying over and over and over again. And eventually I just switched to creative mode, and I flew around for 2.5 hours until I found our house again, and then I reset our spawn point.
At that point I would have burned that world and made a new one.
But I would have lost my beautiful house, my beautiful farm.
Man, tragic tale. I'm glad you found it at the end, though.
Yeah, it only took cheating, but and then once I had switched to creative mode to cheat, it was very hard to go back to survival mode.
Oh,
because I'm just like, but I could have it all.
right.
I could spend 20 hours mining for enough iron to like build this house that I have in mind, or I could just do it right now. And so that's what I did.
That's how alcoholics and druggies think, man. It's hard to go back. Like, I could just have it all.
Yeah, that's kind of how it felt.
Drunk on power.
So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in that world. I'm not crazy about survival mode. I'm going to be honest. I'm more of a big tub of Legos guy instead of a, let's build a specific set type of guy.
Yeah.
Give me like a random set of bricks and I'll come up with my own thing.
Minecraft's like my comfort food. I first discovered it through the Oxcast. You ever heard of their legendary playthrough, The Shadow of Israfel?
I have heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
I was a little child, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and I watched them surviving, and then weird stuff started happening. They had other players come in and pretend to be characters in their worlds.
Oh, that's
and
fun.
It skewed my view of what Minecraft was. I was like, oh my god, there's like a story and stuff, and there was not.
Spoiler alert for Minecraft.
Spoiler alert. There is no story. You are not Steve.
I am Steve.
It's gonna live in my head for years.
Hey, I wore a blue sweater one time, so I am Steve.
I am also Steve. But I think earlier this week you said to me that you wanted to talk about building mechanics. This almost became a building mechanics episode. I was going to try to write a script for that. But then it boiled down to this, and I think what we could do is we could talk about... We won't go as in-depth as we usually do in our episodes about mechanics we like. We can still talk about building mechanics.
Yeah. I figured more casual, more focused on, like, cool things that we built. Just fun. Having a little bit of fun with it. We can talk about, like, building mechanics that we found interesting and more focused on like the interesting things that you and I have done with them rather than like getting in depth about what does and doesn't make a good building mechanic. Maybe another day.
Yeah. I can complain about Fallout 4's building mechanic for a bit.
I forgot that Fallout 4 had building mechanics. So what's oh, damn it. We didn't come up with a question of the week.
Oh yeah, we didn't come up with a question of the week.
All right, right now. What is the coolest thing you built in Minecraft?
Yeah. Or any game. What is the coolest thing you've built in a game with building mechanics? And I'm excited for some Fallout 4 answers because you can build some cool stuff with it. I just fucking hate it. So what have you ever built anything really cool in Minecraft?
I had quite a world on my Xbox 360 on that version of Minecraft back in the day. I was sitting right next to me in a box that our editor Merlin is laying on is my Xbox 360 from when I was a child. And I have Minecraft here. I just don't have the component to HDMI adapter with which to play it.
I was going to say, episode's over. Let's just play Minecraft.
Dude.
Xbox Minecraft.
But that was, I never touched survival mode once in that. I think the coolest thing I ever built was like just a giant bridge. Giant iron bridge, like spanning a huge portion of my world. I wish I could say that it looked cool, but I don't remember how it looks.
No, you can say it looked cool. No one will know.
Yeah, it was awesome. It basically looked like the Golden Gate Bridge, but it was white because I used iron. I remember it had like, I think if I remember correctly, it had like a river running on top of the bridge, so you could go across it on a boat, which kind of like doesn't really make a lot of sense when you think about it, but because you could have just crossed the boat in a river to begin with, but cross the river in a boat. Yeah, you get the point.
Yeah, I get the point.
But it was cool. It was cool. I think it was like maybe a river in the middle and then two railways running on either side, so there were different options for transporting across it.
Oh, that is neat.
It was cool. My favorite thing to do in Minecraft was just like start by just building these massive structures. And in creative mode, it's not really. I mean, I guess it is still difficult because it's time consuming, especially on like the Switch or the Xbox 360 versions.
Yeah. I don't have those fine motor skills that a mouse gives you.
I also think, I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure there's a command like /fill in Minecraft on the PC version where you can just like fill large sections with a certain block.
I think so. I've never messed too much with commands or command blocks or anything like that.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I have played very little of Bedrock or like Minecraft on PC in general. Just because, didn't have a good PC when I was a kid. And
I didn't either, but that didn't stop me. I played Minecraft loading like one chunk away. I could see nothing. It all looked like shit, but I had the time of my life.
Hell yeah. I had it on Xbox. I would play it on Xbox. It was good for like local multiplayer because you could do split screen. Now I primarily play it on my Switch because I just know several other people who have it on the Switch, and it's really convenient for multiplayer, even though you get more than like 3 people in there and it runs really bad. But yeah, it's we're rambling at this point. I built a big bridge. I feel like that's the classic thing that you build in Minecraft.
Yeah.
I think I built like some giant glass water structure. Where it's like a big pillar coming out of the sky. And I think the top of it was like a glass dome filled with magma. And then coming out of the sides of it were several waterfalls. Had no purpose other than that it looked cool.
That's the only reason. That's the best reason.
Yeah, it's cool. Now Minecraft for me is just Blender. Now that I'm getting like comfortable using it, I can just do those things, and it's a lot easier.
Hell yeah.
It's honestly been having a lot of fun with it. What about you? What are some cool things you've made in Minecraft or anything?
Well, I'll keep it on Minecraft because I didn't play creative too much. I was a modded survival kid throughout high school and middle school. And then there was this one mod that I really liked called like Nope's NPC mod, I think.
Okay.
Where you could make NPCs in Minecraft. They had like dialogue trees and stuff.
That's cool.
You could set up merchants. You could make them like mercenaries that would follow you if you paid them stuff. It was really neat and really customizable. And I'm like, I really want to make an adventure map for like, I really want to make an adventure map for people to play. So for a very short amount of time, I did play a lot of creative. And I made this I downloaded another mod that was like magic in Minecraft.
Okay.
And the way Nopes works, you could make it look like they were using the mod, even though those two weren't really, I don't think they were compatible mods.
That's really cool.
It was neat. So what I did was I made like a floating Wizard Academy, like Hogwarts looking thing.
Hell yeah.
It wasn't very big. It didn't look very good, but I was proud of it.
Yeah.
And then the adventure map went nowhere. I got tired of being in creative mode and quickly stopped. I think anytime I think about something I've spent a significant amount of time building in a video game, it was that.
Yeah.
I know my first playthrough of Fallout 4, I got into the building mechanics because there are 4 factions, and one of them is heavily oriented around the settlement feature in Fallout.
Okay.
And in each settlement, you can build up some stuff, and you have to like keep the settlers there happy or they'll leave. And I got really into that, and I built like a community in almost every settlement I could. And eventually, with this faction, you unlock the ability to build a howitzer cannon.
Oh, God.
and
Sweet.
in each of your settlements. And as long as you're in range of one of those howitzer cannons, you can throw down a flare and they'll like shell the place. It's so cool. So I made sure that the centerpiece of every single one of my settlements was that howitzer cannon.
As you do.
I made this what is it called? I made Boston a military state after I was done with it. It was, I think that's another time I've spent a lot of time with the building mechanics. But that was on PlayStation 4, and it is frustrating. Building mechanics are frustrating. Things don't always snap the way they should. You can't quite make things at the right height sometimes.
Yes.
And that was all on PS4. And then I eventually bought it again it was much later because Fallout 4 is old at this point.
No, Fallout 4 is a new game.
Yes,
what are you talking about? It's a new game. It just came out.
It's still a new game, Grandpa.
Let's get you back to bed.
But I bought it again much later on PC, and it is still infuriating. I still don't like it. And this time I did not play with the building mechanics at all. I built the bare minimum. I get a new settlement, I make a bed to sleep in, and that's it. But I think those two are the building mechanics that stand out to me. Minecraft, obviously, and Fallout 4. And I know you can do crazy stuff with like Terraria and Starbound, but I never did.
Yes, you did. That's a lie.
Did I? I built the chair, or the hill that all chairs come to die. No, you built that. I supplied.
Yeah, you supplied. That's the best way to say it. I don't know how we ended. No, you just kept making fucking chairs, and you would throw them at me to fill my inventory. And then I didn't know what to do with them, so I just kept stacking all of the chairs. It made a pretty sizable mountain of chairs.
I do remember that. That was great.
I do like Terraria's building mechanics. They're I don't want to say simple because I know you can do like a lot of cool stuff with them, but the 2D is just limiting enough that I feel like there's a lot you can do with them, and they give you furniture, which is cool.
I know exploring like Starbound, some of the dungeons are like pre-generated megastructures that you can find. And they're all using blocks that you could find yourself. So like you could build these, and they look insane. And it inspires me to build stuff, but I never do. Like, this is so cool. I would love to build one of these myself, but who has the time?
Right.
I like Starbound.
Yeah, I remember you being really hyped for Starbound when it was first coming out.
I was.
It seems like that game... Did it ever officially release?
Yeah, it officially released. It made its money, and then they were like, hey, remember all those promises we made? They're gone. Fuck that. We made our money. We're out of here.
Was it the same people that made Terraria?
I don't know.
I think it was
I don't think so.
Published by Chucklefish.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know why I always thought it was some of the same people as Terraria. Maybe that was just the art style, though.
Chucklefish was the developer of Starbound, and I don't think Chucklefish was the developer of Terraria, but it could have been like the same people just working at Chucklefish. I don't know.
I see. Yeah, did you do anything cool in Starbound with the building mechanics, or is it just basic bases?
No. Yeah, no, they were all really basic. I went to the tamest planets I could find and built a little wooden shack.
Yep.
That was it. Because you don't need in Terraria, you need all the NPCs to progress the game.
Right.
You really don't have any incentive to build in Starbound because you have your ship.
Yeah.
You just put everything on your ship, and then you never have to go down to a planet ever.
That makes a lot of sense. Were there any mechanics for actually building with the ship? Like building onto the ship?
Yeah. You could like increase the size of your ship,
and
it would just be big blank rooms that you could fill with whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. You could even like tear down the walls and make them different walls if you wanted.
Oh, sweet.
I will say I liked what Terraria did more, or not. I liked what Starbound did more than Terraria. In Terraria, you have to like craft the background bits.
Yes, it's a wall. I think it's the object.
You have to craft a wall, and it's like not quite the same grid as the actual building blocks, if I remember. It's like a weird...
Yeah, it's slightly awkward. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
In Starbound, everything's on a grid, and if you want to place a block in the background, you right-click, and if you want to place it in the foreground, you left-click. And I think that worked so much better.
Yes, I do. That is really nice. Yeah, the walls were always weird, and then you had to have a hammer to destroy them, I think.
You had to have a different tool for everything.
Yeah.
I like what they did with Starbound as well. You have a multi-tool that just does everything.
Nice.
And it doesn't take up an inventory slot.
That's pretty cool.
You can still have pickaxes and they'll like make stuff faster, but if you just upgrade your multi-tool, you never really need one.
That's cool.
Starbound did a lot of really cool quality of life things over Terraria, but it doesn't have as much charm, I don't think, as Terraria does.
I see. Terraria is very charming. It's a tough competition.
It is very charming.
Well, what other game has a fish that walks around in the rain?
Right.
And sometimes carries an umbrella.
Right.
Or a slime with a little umbrella hat.
Right. I think the one thing that you might like Starbound is it has like a Pokemon mechanic.
Oh, yeah, I have heard of that before. So you can like catch any of the native wildlife as a pet, basically?
Pretty much, yeah. They're like a little, not Pokeballs. But yeah, I loved that aspect. It brought out my inner poacher. It was the one thing I wanted to do after beating the game was just go around catching everything and displaying it on a case and wearing a fur coat and owning an elephant gun.
Having one of those safari hats with the wide
a pith helmet, yeah,
and big puffed out pants.
This what I caught on Mordu 6. That was my character in Starbound. It was the most fun thing to do.
Makes sense because you hate animals.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this fucker right here was hard to catch.
Oh my god. I wish we had our Terraria map that we put all that time into because
I know.
Despite Chair Mountain being the greatest accomplishment we ever had, I remember our map was pretty cool. I remember we had like a cool underground area and like a river that we would use for fast traveling.
Yeah. We had a neat like mineshaft entrance. I remember I spent time on that.
Yeah. It was like multiple layers underground, but also multiple layers above ground. Areas to like. It was cool. It was cool. I think we used like the 2 building skyscraper type things for all of the NPCs, and then had the middle area. It's just kind of like a common area. It was cool.
I want to know, anyone that plays Terraria, how do you house your NPCs? Because no matter what world it is, if I'm playing it, they're always in a wooden apartment. It's just every time. It's just a stack of wooden houses.
Yeah, that's always what it is for me too.
And I'd like to know, like, do people actually build cool little villages, or like, do they just have a mega mansion where each one has a room instead of a house?
I always like the idea of doing a big tree house.
Yeah.
Or like some kind of a sky loft area. Oh man, now I want to play Terraria.
Yeah, me too.
the best soundtrack.
Oh,
well, I mean, Minecraft is up there, but the Terraria soundtrack gets stuck in my head more than anything else.
Yes, it does.
So outside of like specific building mechanics, I did want to talk about like Tears of the Kingdom. That's the big change from Breath of the Wild, is you can build stuff.
You can build Incredibots.
Yeah.
The old Flash game.
Oh my god.
Shout out.
Blast from the freaking past. Oh my god. You're welcome. You still haven't played Tears of the Kingdom, right?
No. No. It's been so long now. Oh. But spoil away. Big spoiler warning, because I know what games I want to talk about later. And I'm going to spoil the shit out of those.
Hell yeah. Tears of the Kingdom, the building mechanic. Again, that's like the main change from Breath of the Wild. Well, not there's a lot of changes, but like the one on the box is you can
Yeah.
build things. I think the cool thing that they did is they added the the blender 3-axis directional
Oh yeah.
thing when you pick stuff up. It genuinely makes things so easy.
I don't know how else they would do that. That's so genius.
Yeah. Allowing you to pick up objects and rotate them freely in space. I think it's in increments of 30 degrees, 15 degrees, something like that. Giving you a lot of control, but not unlimited control, I think is really nice. I gotta say, it's, for me, I find it much more useful for problem solving in the shrines instead of the overworld. I do use it in the overworld, but I'm constantly concerned about resource management, so I try and find a non-building solution first before I try and build something.
I was gonna say, the clips I've seen, it looks like ingenuity is in the shrines, but having fun is out on the in the overworld is where I see people having fun building stuff, but in the shrines I'm like, oh, that's cool, smart, and genius.
Yeah. I think once I got toward I don't want to say the end of the game because I still haven't beaten it, but once I got to the point where I was finishing up all of the shrines and I was just trying to get to some of the last ones in the Sky Islands, they're very far apart. It got to a point where I had one really solid design for a flying machine, and spoiler warning, there's a mechanic called auto build that you unlock later in the game where you can essentially save designs.
Oh, that's kind of smart, honestly.
And there's a material that you can mine called zonite. I've never said it out loud. It's a stupid name. You can mine zonite, and it uses that to build the mechanic, or to build whatever you have saved. Or if there are matching objects in the background, if you have a log built in, you can cut down a tree and it will collect the log and use that as part of the build, and any other pieces you don't have will get made out of zonite.
That's smart.
So it's a cool way of doing it. It's, but like I said, there eventually I think becomes a point where it's okay, I understand the mechanics very well in this game. I have one really good design, and I'm not going to deviate from the norm from that, because why would I? Why would I fuss with coming up with a new thing if I already have one that really works?
If it ain't broke.
Yeah. And, I would have to rebuild it from scratch and then save it to my auto build and whatever. Yeah. But in the shrines, I'm going to be real. I hated the shrines in Breath of the Wild. Even though I love that game, I avoided them like the plague because they just took me out of the game so much. I didn't really care about the abilities in that game, as far as magnesis was fine, but it only worked on certain objects. The bombs were cool, I guess, but how many puzzles can you do with a round bomb and a square bomb?
Yeah.
Stasis was cool.
Yeah.
But Tears of the Kingdom just took all of those and made them cooler.
Yeah.
Stasis, what if it's stasis, but you could rewind time?
Yeah.
The Ultra Hand is just the magnesis, but you can do it on anything, which is so cool.
That is nice.
So I just found that I found that Tears of the Kingdom was here are a bunch of Legos, figure out how to get through this. We probably have at least one solution in mind, but I just think that the building mechanics, it gives you so many different solutions to a problem, in that I feel like I'm solving it instead of I'm finding the solution that the developer wanted me to find, if that makes sense. And I think you could get that to an extent in Breath of the Wild with bomb skips where you jump and then explode the bomb at the right moment and you fly really far. That's cool. That's a cool way of doing it. But this is let's give you that, but within the actual rules of the game instead of manipulating the system. There, some of the solutions I came up with were so crack and weird, and like, there's this one where you have to get across an electrified pool of water, and there are just a series of metal fences going through the water to the other side.
I think I've seen this one. I think I've seen a clip of someone solving this one.
It stuck out to me because it was so, and they just give you a bunch of, there's like wheels, there's logs, there's frames, and I ended up coming up with this like wheels that were facing down toward the water, pushed up against either side of the metal fence to make like almost like a train. Imagine the fence are train tracks, and then the wheels are acting like train. Well, I mean, not even like a train because the wheels are facing the wrong way, but that's the best way I can say it.
Right.
I think they do have some of those trains where the wheels are locked sideways on. I don't remember where I've seen that used before, but that is a thing. And it's one of those things that when I finally got it to work, I was like, this is the coolest freaking game ever. I can't believe I made this happen. This was the most crackhead solution I could have come up with. But it worked, and I got through.
Those kinds of games, I always end up brute forcing stuff so hard. I will build like a bridge of trash to get across in something like that. I know I would. I know that would be my first solution. I have to stop myself and think more critically sometimes.
See, I've got that programmer mindset where I'm going to spend 45 minutes engineering a solution that I could have brute forced in 15.
See, I don't. I have the programmer mindset where I just brute force it and it works until it doesn't. And then I need to change the core.
And then we have to spend 2 days figuring out rotation in Tetris.
Yes, exactly. We've come full circle. Oh, man.
Are there any other games that you've played that have cool building mechanics?
I don't know about cool. Pretty
bad.
Pretty basic, like Ark.
Yeah.
Ark, Project Zomboid, these kind of survival games where building is part of it. What's that Viking one that's really good? Oh no. But I think my favorite thing in those kind of games where it's a survival, but like Minecraft, but like slightly more, I don't want to say hardcore, slightly more realistic, where you can't just nerd pole to the sky and live. My favorite thing in those is to find pre-generated structures and repurpose those.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
I think that's the funnest thing, because I see people in like Project Zomboid going out to the forest and building a shack by hand, and I'm like, nah, I'll stay in the city and like repurpose this 2-story house that I found. Maybe add a room to it or something. That's always cool to me.
Yeah. I haven't played a lot of games like that. Like I said, I tend to gravitate more toward the creative mode side of things versus the survival. Not that I dislike it, but I'm not like huge on inventory management, and that seems to be like the point from which all of those stem. So it doesn't do a ton for me. If you're gonna make me do inventory management, give me a lot of like fun things I can do with it.
Yeah,
but yeah, survival games, it's like the worst of both worlds for me. I can't build whatever I want, and I have to manage my inventory.
Project Zomboid has probably the best inventory system, and by best I mean like the most intricate, in that you can take a sip from your bottle and it like remembers how much is in that bottle and stuff. It's like you would hate it. You would fucking, I love it so much, you would fucking hate it. You can like put stuff in a backpack and then put that backpack in another backpack.
Oh God.
You would hate it, but I'm like, dude, my backpack full of plastic sacks full of nails is the reason I play, the reason I live, dude.
Oh man. I'm like, I'm the type of guy, I'm like, in an RPG, you'll give me a potion, and I'm like, I so don't want to think about managing my inventory that I'm going to make my entire build around never having to use or think about these items. Like, I don't even want to consider them, because that's just too much work.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I like being good inventory management. It's part of the fun with Resident Evil. And they have an auto sort button now, and I'm like, no, I refuse to use that. That's a baby button for babies.
This is completely tangential, but the newest Pokemon game added everybody take a shot, and finally mentioned Pokemon. The newest Pokemon game added a auto heal button where it looks at the health of your Pokemon, and it finds the item that you have that will get you closest to fully refilling your health, and then use that. And then whatever portion is left, it will find the item that you have that is closest to refilling that, and then use that. It is at least I think that's how it works. It's amazing. It is the most. I mean, now I literally don't ever have to think about my inventory. I literally just like auto heal. Who cares? Who cares what's left in there? When I run out, I'll go buy more.
Dang. So see, like, I like resource management in games. So like RPGs, I'm like, oh, should I use the potion? Should I use the mega potion? Oh man, it's choices, options. I live for that. So I think I would hate that button.
Yeah. See, I'm like, potion, mega potion. I'll just spend 15 minutes trekking back to the heal center, to the Pokemon Center. That way I don't have to use either. And then I'll go to the shop and buy 3 more just in case I need them.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing. A little bit of Minecraft. Man, I might end up playing Terraria after this because the Siren's Call. That game is so fun.
It's got me in a Starbound or Project Zomboid taste all of a sudden. So,
or maybe I'll just open up Blender and actually learn a skill. Who knows?
No, thanks. Not for me.
Well, what have you been doing? What have you been playing other than like staring into space and letting your brain melt?
Dying on a bed. When I wasn't dying on a bed, I was playing Remnant 2. Have you heard of this one?
If you've mentioned it to me before, maybe, but I don't remember anything about it.
I bought it when it was on sale like a month ago, and it sat in my library for a while.
As you do.
And then I got sick with COVID, and I'm just laying there. I'm like, I guess I can boot up this game that I haven't played yet. And I really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, hell yeah.
I haven't felt this sense of wonder since... Well, I'll talk about this later, because this is going to go into our next segment. I haven't felt this sense of wonder since, like, Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, dang. It's a very full of wonder game. I'm never going to say wonderful because I haven't played it, but it's, like, full of wonder.
It was, as a kid, with, like, you didn't have internet, so you didn't know what worlds were in the next Kingdom Hearts, and you're like, oh, man, I wonder if they got this. I wonder if they got that. Oh, my God, they have this world, this character. I haven't felt that in a while. Remnant 2 kind of brought that back. So Remnant 2 is a Souls-like game by Gunfire Games. I don't know anything else they've made besides Remnant 1. And I played Remnant 1 back in the day when it released, and I don't remember enjoying it as much. I don't know what it was about it. I couldn't tell you why I didn't play it, but I didn't. But Remnant 2 has it's a Souls-like with like procedurally generated worlds.
Oh.
And I'm about to get into some heavy spoilers. Like, this game is something you need to go and experience if you want to. And the next game I'm going to talk about later. A lot of spoilers this episode.
And what is the type of person that you think would want to play it and should pause the episode if they don't want spoilers? Like, who's the type of person who'd like this game?
If you like exploring if you liked Stargate,
Okay.
it's like you. I'm gonna spoil the very beginning of the game. You're in like a post-apocalyptic world.
Okay.
But and this was the same in Remnant 1. There's a magical crystal which just takes you to random worlds, like completely other dimensions. And each of the levels are like totally different from the other. And they each have different, it's like in Kingdom Hearts. You go to Agrabah and you have the Aladdin story, and it doesn't overlap with the Pirates of the Caribbean story. It's got its own thing going on.
Oh. That's kind of cool.
But you're still Sora traveling to each of these worlds with an end goal in mind.
I see.
And that, to me, that is one of my favorite things about Kingdom Hearts. I guess that's why I like the MCU so much. I am a sucker for crossovers and propaganda. But if you like that wonder of exploring new worlds and like just them not having really any connection to each other, I would pause this. I would go play it. It's really fun. It's fun to discover these worlds for yourself. And like, I was like oohing and ahhing the whole time.
Nice. I'm actually going to pause the episode and go play.
Okay. I'll let you do that. If you want me to, I can try to keep it pretty light spoilery.
No. I think it's okay.
Okay.
For me, it's if I'm not seeing the visuals, I don't care.
Okay. It is a Souls-like with guns. You could literally say it's Dark Souls with guns. It has all that stuff going on for it. I'm not going to talk too much about the gameplay because it's a Souls-like. If you played a Souls-like, you know what it's like. Bosses.
Dodge roll. Does it have a dodge roll?
It's got a dodge roll.
Oh, well.
It's got the classic. If you're wearing too much armor, you got a fat roll. If you got like no armor, then you got a really speedy roll. It's got the classic rolls.
And if you want to hear more about Dark Souls games, you can listen to Systems in Play episode 10.
Yeah.
I don't remember what we called that one.
A genre is Bloodborne.
Featuring Terrific Blake.
Yeah, go check that out.
Yeah.
I think we might have scratched on Remnant 2, but I hadn't played it. I hadn't even bought it at that time, I don't think. Yeah, go check that out, because that was fun. So, very light spoilery with the world. Like, I'm going to give you an example of why I was like an oohing and ahhing. You start in post-apocalyptic Earth. You touch a crystal, you get transported to one of 3 random worlds. There's 5 worlds in total, but 2 of them are pretty standard, are not pre-generated.
Right.
They're set pieces for the rest of the game. But there are 3 worlds that you can go to, and I believe each of them have like 3 different world states, scenarios that you play through in each one.
Okay.
Like, for example, one of them, this one, I guess I can take you through one of the worlds and get pretty spoiler heavy and just know that the other 2 are kind of like this.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
One of the worlds called Lorem, I think was one of my favorite ones.
Lorem.
It is it looks like their homage to Dark Souls. You go to this place, this like old medieval town. There's like some kind of plague or something going on from the looks of it.
Is there a castle in the distance?
Oh, yeah, there's a big castle in the distance. Well, it all depends because it's like procedurally generated.
Oh, right.
So the DLC is one of the scenarios, actually, that you can get for a world that was already in the game. And that one, the castle's in the distance. Because that's the one I played through first. You start off in the streets, you see the castle in the distance, you get a peek through a door, and there's like this giant woman who's like chained up. She's like one of the main NPCs that you meet in the other scenarios.
Is it the blue lady?
Yeah.
I saw in the pictures? Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. She's in like all the art and stuff, but she's in that one world. She's just an NPC in that one world.
Oh.
But
people want a giant woman.
Yeah, they know what their fans want. But you can see her through a door, like chained up, and you're like, how the hell do I get there? You have to she's not even till like later in this world that you get to her. You see this giant castle, in the distance. You have to go through the town, and then finally you get to the castle. The castle is like the end of the game. You meet the one true king, which everyone has been talking about this whole time. And this was my first experience in this place. and he tells you, go kill her or fight me. And either she will be the final boss or he will be the final boss of this world. It's really cool.
That's cool.
And then I go back there because you can re-roll your entire campaign if you want, or you can start an adventure on any of the worlds you've been to, and it'll you'll play through that in a different world state or the same state.
I see.
So I went back to Lorem again, and this time you start in the castle. The king that you kill in the one I play as, so you're in the past because the king that you kill in that one has been put to sleep by magic, and you're trying to figure out who did it. And it's like,
this is insane.
It is so cool.
It's a completely different game.
Yeah, you're in the castle now, and I think you only go to the world. You go to the town through like dungeon doors. Another big part of the game are you'll get to a door that's just a big yellow glowing door, and you go in it, and it'll pre-generate a dungeon. And I think the only time you actually go to the town in this world state is if it's a pre-generated dungeon. I think. I might be wrong. I haven't played enough of it yet. I'm still enjoying this game. And every time you go through these, you can find different items, different stuff. And this time, you meet the goddess earlier, and she's like an NPC that can craft stuff for you.
Whoa, so like she serves a completely different purpose in the game?
Yeah, because in the other one, if you choose to fight the king, which I did because he's fucking evil, you fight him and you go talk to her, and she's like, "Thank you, here's an item," and that's it. You talk to her again, and she's like, "I have stuff to do, goodbye," and then you never speak to her again. I'm like, oh, okay, why is she on the front page of the game?
Right.
So then you come back, and she's like a crafting NPC, but she had nothing. All of her crafting stuff was like question marks. So what do you? It doesn't tell you what she can craft. You just know that she can craft stuff. I'm like, what? So then later, more spoilers here. You do a mission in that scenario where you meet the council of the king, and they're like, one of us is the traitor. I need you to find out who it is.
Yomagus?
Yeah. One of us is sus. You must find the sussy baka. Then you go to this magic mirror, which takes you, I don't know, to some other world, kinda, and you can go see the king asleep on his throne. And it's the same guy you fight in the DLC. So I'm guessing before this, he was just a set piece, a big set piece that's sitting on this massive throne.
I see.
And you can miss this, but if you go up behind him, jump up the throne to a little jumping puzzle, you can find a dagger in his back, and it has the symbol of one of the... Again, heavy spoilers for this entire quest line. It has the symbol for one of the counselors, and you hand it in, and they give you this shitty sword as a gift. They're like, "Thank you for figuring it out." And I'm like, "Damn, that sucked." So then I got my brother to play this with me later on. I'm like, "Hey, you should download this and play this game. It's on sale right now." He's like, "All right." So in his campaign, we got that scenario again with the castle, and I'm like, "Hold on. Let's not take the dagger to the counselors. Let's take it to Numue is her name, the goddess, and see if she can do something with it." And she turns this quest item dagger into an actual weapon.
Oh my god!
And now you can't complete that quest, but you have this really badass dagger. I'm like, this game is insane, and I loved finding the secrets. I loved exploring these new worlds. It's so cool.
That is really interesting. It kind of sounds like, I mean, like you said, it kind of sounds like MCU type stuff where you're playing through like alternate timelines where it's the same people, but they're in slightly different scenario or very different scenarios or different occupations, and it's all randomly generated. It's pseudo randomly generated.
I think it's procedurally generated, and that there's 3 scenarios per world, I believe.
I see.
That you can go to, and the dungeons are what's generated differently. So stuff's pretty much the same in each of those scenarios, which is why I was like, "Hey, wait, let's not turn this dagger in yet. I want to see if she can do something with it." So then we started taking her all the quest items before finishing quests, and that was the only thing I could find, and she still has a bunch of question mark craftable items, and I'm like, what the hell is this? there's so many questions. This game has been enrapturing me. I don't know if it's like COVID has smoothed my brain and like stimuli, but it has been fun as hell.
That sounds so interesting. That sounds like such an interesting concept for a game.
Oh, it's
and it feels like it delivers on like the multiverse idea way better than a lot of other things do.
And I will say again, this was just one of the worlds.
Right.
There's like 2 other worlds that I haven't even like talked about, and they're both also good.
Man, that's cool as hell.
The one thing I will say is I fucking hate the ending. The ending of the game is stupid, but it makes sense.
Man, I need to check out Remnant. It sounds insane and really fun.
It's really fun. It is neat.
Although what will probably happen is I would start it and try it and then come to a boss and not be able to beat them and be like, well, this game isn't fun. It is
a Souls-like. It is a Souls-like. It can get a little hard. I Googled it a lot before I started playing it to see if it was worth trying to solo it or if you could come to a spot where you just can't beat it unless you have like 2 other people playing with you. Mm-hmm. But I beat it solo. It wasn't too bad. I played on the medium difficulty.
Okay.
There was, if anyone else has played it, I will say there's one boss, and you will know who I'm talking about. The fucking cubes. I'm going to spoil this too. This is the one boss that gave me trouble. Doesn't matter how much you prepare for this boss, because you go to this labyrinth, this maze.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of cubes, giant cubes that are just sort of rolling around, and they will squash you if you're underneath them.
Okay.
But each of these cubes has like 2 little glowing orbs of light you have to shoot, and that is the boss. You have to go around shooting all these cubes in this labyrinth without getting squished. And
that's a cool idea.
It is a neat idea, but my fucking God, was it so annoying. And it is the one time in that entire game that I died a billion times, and it's like adjusting the difficulty wouldn't do anything for that because you one-shot the orbs, and they're not doing a specific amount of damage. They're insta-killing you.
Right.
There's nothing that you can do to make the fight easier or harder. You just have to do it. And it is a cool idea, and I liked the boss fight for the first 3 times I tried it.
Yeah.
So if anyone knows, let me know. Did you struggle with that, or was I just dumb?
Just a little smooth brain COVID boy.
That's what it was. That's what it was. But I think this leads into our next segment, which we're going to call the Systems in Play Hall of Game. So in episode 0, we had a list of 5 games. We didn't even say, these are top games, these are games. These are going to be games that we recommend that we're just going to sort of add to this list over time, yeah?
Yeah.
I think
games we recommend, just the best of the best, the games that we feel like deserve recognition for being exceptional in some way.
Yep. And earlier I said that Remnant 2, I haven't felt that sense of wonder since Kingdom Hearts 2 or Kingdom Hearts. I lied. I have felt that sense of wonder since then. In another game called Control. You heard of that one?
I have heard of Control. Have not played it though.
So I'm going to induct Control into the Hall of Game. It is a game by Remedy Entertainment, which made the Alan Wake games. Mm-hmm. And it shares a universe with Alan Wake. Mm-hmm. No, it definitely shares a universe with Alan Wake. There's a DLC with Alan Wake in it, I'm pretty sure. But Control is a really good game where I'm constantly excited to see what's around the corner and what's going to happen next.
What genre is Control? First-person shooter?
It's a third-person shooter. It's a sort of a run-and-gun type deal.
Okay.
Open world if the world was the Backrooms office space.
Okay.
You go to this It's if you know what SCP is.
Wait, is this the one that is in the SCP universe?
I don't think it's in the SCP universe, but it very much feels like they took inspiration from SCP.
I see.
So instead of SCPs, they're called OOPs, objects of power. Oops.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
And instead of oops being oops all berries. Instead of oops being like SCPs, where SCPs could be like a person or something. Objects of power are just objects. Like one of them's a rubber duck. Again, big spoilers for Control ahead, probably. One of them's a duck. One of them, the big one, I think, is like a projector they used in classes that could take you to other worlds and stuff.
Oh, cool.
The duck can like teleport, and that's its entire thing. It's just a rubber duck that teleports around. And some of them are dangerous. Some of them are cool. They're how you get your powers in the game. It is a third person run and gun. You have a gun as your weapon, but you also get force powers, sort of like if you played Force Unleashed.
Okay, so you can like push people across the room, like choke them, whatever. Yeah,
you can do stuff like that. It's super neat, but it just has a vibe, man.
Is it a horror game?
It can play to that sometimes, but I was never scared of it.
Maybe like a thriller?
Sort of thriller, sort of creepy sometimes. It tries to be creepy. I know it's got like, there are floating bodies around that whisper.
Oh. I mean, that's not scary.
No.
This is nothing crazy.
It's like an atmospheric horror type deal, but nothing has ever really come close to hitting the vibes of Control. Like when you find a new place, it's the cinematic. I don't even know how to explain it. You'll find the mailroom. It'll be called the mailroom, and you'll have the words mailroom just appear on your screen. And I don't know. There's just something so cinematic about Control. And there is, if anyone else has played it, I was enjoying this game, and I had like a 9 or a 10 on my rating scale. And then you get to this one level, the level where the janitor tells you to go. And if anyone's played it, you know that it'll bring it up to an 11.
Oh, dang.
Such a fun little level. It is a trippy experience. It is fun, and I think more people should play Control.
Dang. You sold me. That sounds fun. Maybe I'll put that on my Halloween list.
Yes.
For the spooky vibes. I don't always want to be scared the whole time, but I want the atmosphere.
Yes.
Atmosphere.
I will say I've never played an Alan Wake game, and I'm going to, though, because Control got me hooked on that entire Remedy Entertainment, all their stuff.
Yeah, I've heard that Alan Wake games are good. I heard Alan Wake 2 was really cool. Honest to God, I had never heard of Alan Wake before, like this year. I think I heard of Control either this year or maybe like late last year. It is apparently a long-running, very rich universe that has just somehow slipped completely under my radar.
I'm sure you heard about it when I played it the first time. I was like, dude, you gotta play Control.
I think you did.
But no, it's a good one.
Nice.
Do you have any nominations for the
Hall of Game? I have one. It's technically a game.
It counts.
Yeah, I think it counts. We're not gonna do another esoteric episode about what is and isn't a game yet. Add that to the notes. I am going to nominate Pokemon Showdown.
Oh, now this one I haven't heard of until today.
It is a family game made by a bunch of people, but the lead developer on the website is Guangkong Luo. So, Pokemon is a game. It's
it though?
No, it is. It's a game, and you play the game, and all the battles are really easy. I'm just gonna say, like when you play through the main game, the battles are pretty easy, and you can play online in the more recent entries, and it becomes a good deal harder. But the problem is, once you get to a competitive, if you want to compete competitively in Pokemon, there's a lot of mechanics that you have to be aware of that are never explicitly explained in the game. So, okay, so high level, you're wanting to build a team. What do you got to do? You got to pick your 6 guys. Step 2, you got to pick out your moves for all the guys. Thinking about synergy, thinking about type coordination, thinking about all this. All right, ready to go? Wrong. Then you got to think about held items. How? Well, okay, held items, that's not a big deal. Wrong. Held items up until okay, I will admit Scarlet and Violet has made this easier, but held items are specific, items that your Pokemon can hold, and they change some aspect of how they play. So, some might be as simple as, 20% boost to fire type moves, or there's an item that's called the focus sash, where if you get hit, if your health is full and you get hit, and that would be a 1-hit KO, you survive with 1 HP. So cool. Like lots of items. I mean, literally, like, I don't know if there's hundreds, but there's probably a couple hundred items in the game that you could pick from. How do you get those items? You have to go through the game, and you have to the focus sash in Black and White. It's in the ice cave underneath ice falling blocks puzzle. And then in X and Y, it's in the Sandy Beach Cove, and you have to, every game they put them in a different place. Sometimes they're like locked behind in-game battle mechanics that are unfair. I'm gonna say, like, they're just unnecessarily hard for the sake of like gating these items. All that to say, like, getting the items that you need for battle up until Scarlet and Violet has been a somewhat arduous process, because they're typically hidden in like the game world somewhere, and so you have to like go through the game to get all of those items. All right, so that's one thing that makes it a little bit more, is another barrier to entry to playing competitively.
I didn't realize this.
That's just one. So in that next level down, we're gonna talk about EVs. No, we're gonna talk about IVs first.
There's a difference.
IVs stand for individual values. Each Pokemon has for every stat, they have I think it's like 0 to 5 IVs in that stat. And the number of IVs in that stat basically influence the overall number of points in that stat. IVs cannot be changed for a long time. IVs could not be changed for Pokemon. It was a product of getting a Pokemon with the right IVs, which you have to talk to one NPC to check those values. Use like he'd give you some cryptic message that tell you like what the stat distribution for that Pokemon are, and then to get a Pokemon with a particular stat distribution, you would need to breed Pokemon together, and there is like a very complicated system of breeding two together, and if you give certain Pokemon a certain held item, they will pass down certain individual values. You do it enough times with the right combination of things, and you end up with a perfect IV Pokemon that has 5 in all stats, or 5 in all stats and a 0 in a stat that it makes sense to have a lower value in. Won't get into the details there, but there's a lot.
This is like horse racing.
Yes.
This is like, should we have an episode on the ethicality of Pokemon breeding?
It's pretty messed up, I'm not gonna lie. Newer games, they have an item, I think it's called a bottle cap, that lets you change the IVs of an existing Pokemon. But bottle caps, I don't know if this is the case in Scarlet and Violet, but they were very hard to come by, and it was, again, a lot of grinding to get to that point. But I don't think you necessarily have to breed to get those.
What is sorry. What is the lore reason that a bottle cap changes the internal DNA of a Pokemon?
None.
Okay, good.
Okay, so there's IVs and you have EVs,
Mm.
which are effort values, which are an additional like modification of the stats based on the type of Pokemon that they have battled
Okay.
in the training. So it's like if you battle all I don't know, Poochyena is a dark type Pokemon, typically based on like attack. It might increase your attack EV. Or you could battle a bunch of Pikachu, and Pikachu's a fast Pokemon, so Pikachu might increase your speed EV. You literally just have to go online and look it up. None of this is communicated in the game anywhere. You have to like go online and look up what Pokemon corresponds to which EVs. You have 255 total EVs for your Pokemon that can be distributed among all of your stats. So if you're doing a special attacking Pokemon, you might want to, invest. And I think there's a, I don't remember off the top of my head what the limit is, but there is a cap per each stat on the number of EVs it has. So it's like 100 EVs in special attack, 100 EVs in attack, whatever. You have to be strategic about how you distribute the effort values that you get for your Pokemon.
Okay.
All right. And not to belabor the point, but going like even with moves, it is not trivial to get a certain moveset for a Pokemon because they don't always learn them through leveling up. Sometimes you have to get them through a TM that is again hidden through an overworld puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to find the move relearner, which is an NPC that you go talk to. Sometimes there are only moves that you can learn by breeding with another Pokemon. So it is this whole incredibly complicated process to get one single Pokemon from 0 to competitive ready.
Oh, man.
And that is assuming that you have made a team that even is worthwhile. Like you're the team that you've designed is worthwhile.
I assume they have to synergize with that Pokemon as well, right?
Yes. And it's like, okay, Charizard isn't really working out in this one. I'm going to swap out for Talonflame instead. Well, this little maneuver is going to cost you another 10 hours of in-game time. Again, it's gotten better in the newer games, but it legitimately going back to like Black and White, X and Y days. I saw a video of somebody taking a competitive team from 0 to fully ready for a tournament, and it took something like 40 hours. It was
Jesus
insane. Not to even mention things like legendaries that you can only catch one of.
Right.
Back in the day, you can't breed for another legendary if it doesn't have the stats that you want.
Oh, man.
Again, now they have bottle caps. Now they have EVs. It's a little bit easier, but anyway, for a very long time, despite the fact that it's gotten better, getting into competitive Pokemon is a heavy time sink. And it's very difficult to even do because there's not a lot of room for experimentation because of how long it takes to get anything up and running.
Right.
Enter Pokemon Showdown, which is an online battle simulator that lets you control all of those aspects of a Pokemon with fields and knobs. And, you want to set your EV values, there's a slider. And it automatically tells you, like, if you're, if you've maxed out your EV values, you can't move the slider forward anymore. You have to, it just does everything for you. It removes the thinking. It tells you, it gives you a list of moves that you can pick from that are legal rather than saying like, rather than, you have to just level up. Like this information is not anywhere in the games. There's no person you can go talk to that will, I guess, the move relearner can show you all the moves that you could relearn, but that doesn't give you the full picture, Pokemon Showdown is, I'm going to say, the sole reason that competitive Pokemon is in the state that it is, because it makes it so much more accessible to people and takes all of these mechanics that are not explained in the game and makes them accessible by just making them visible at all. You know, not to mention when you have a battle, it's a battle simulator, you fight against people online. It shows you throughout the battle, like, what's happening. You have a log of why certain, you use an attack and it tells you what percentage of the health it's doing. It's showing you like what bonuses are affecting that damage output. What is going on with your opponent that might be, there are just so many minute mechanics in Pokemon that could affect whether or not something happens the way that you think. And very little of that is explained in the actual games.
Right.
It's like, it's like playing Pokemon in debug mode, where you can just see all of the mechanics that are going on behind the scene and interact with them in a more tactile way rather than having to go through these extremely clunky in-game mechanics to make it happen.
How much does Game Freak care about the competitive side of Pokemon?
Well, there is an entire process to becoming competitive in Pokemon. You start out by, there's the online matches that are ranked and have, they're called like series, I think, where the rules change up every few months. So there's online tournaments that are run and regulated by Game Freak. There are
they themselves run competitive.
Yes, they themselves run that you can play it on your Switch. There are regional level tournaments that are hosted by the Pokemon Company. There are national level tournaments, and then every year there is a world tournament with, I think it's a $10,000 cash prize. And they're a pretty big deal. I mean, I don't want to say it's, it doesn't really get outside of the Pokemon community that much, but like they put a lot of time and effort into them. This year's were in Hawaii. The top like 10, 20 players get flown out to Hawaii for free. They get their entrance paid for.
Man.
This is where they host not only competitive Pokemon, it's referred to as VGC, video game competition, but there's also the trading card game, Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Go. All of these tournaments are hosted in like one big area. And this is every year. So I think that if it wasn't something they cared about, they wouldn't put all of this effort into hosting these giant tournaments, which are also like live casted by people like in the Pokemon community. So if there's like a particularly popular YouTuber that talks about Pokemon stuff, they will probably eventually end up as like a commentator, like it's a freaking football game or something.
Right.
And all these people are getting paid. They're getting flown out to Hawaii. If money talks, they care about competitive Pokemon because a lot of money goes into keeping the scene alive.
That is interesting because like if they do truly care, why don't they make all this more accessible?
I think like it's a combination of they try by, making some things easier, and they want to keep the games feeling like games. They don't want it to be a battle simulator. And I think that's their brand. It's the Pokemon are your friends. And, don't think about the fact that you're having to breed 1,000 Pidgey to get the correct Pidgeot. But like they're your friends and they're real creatures that you're taking care of. And if we make it a simulator, then it's not real anymore. I think that's why. I think it's part of this like brand and this illusion that they want to maintain. The one thing that they have, like the best thing they've done for competitive Pokemon in recent years, is what's called rental teams. Anybody who has a Switch can make a team and then post their team online using a QR code for anybody else to use. So now it becomes a lot easier because, well, if I want to play, I don't have to build my own team. I can go to, a competitive person that I like and just download one of their teams to try. I can't use that team in the game, only on online ladders.
Someone else has put in all the work.
Yes.
That is... I don't see why they wouldn't put maybe in a deep menu somewhere or in a specific NPC where you could look at stuff like EVs and whatnot. It's just coming from a fighting game perspective, like frame data is so accessible. Like it wasn't before, but now like in training mode, you can just turn on like, oh, this move has a 4-frame startup and stuff like that.
Right.
And they even have like the tools. I guess because fighting games are more built around the competitive scene than Pokemon is.
Right.
But it boggles me the amount of tools that they give people in fighting games. Like a new big trending tool now is jump in replays. You can watch a replay and at any moment you can jump into the character and like
that's
what would
cool.
if I would have done this differently, would this have worked? Would that have worked? That's a new thing, I'm pretty sure, in the world of fighting games.
That's really cool.
And yeah, it's just the amount of tools that they give you to be better at competitions. Especially if Game Freak cares as much as if they're shilling that much money as you say they are. I don't see why they don't just let you check your EVs, something simple like that.
You can check them if you know the right NPC, but they don't ever explain what they are. Or how they work, or how many of them you get. All of that, either you know or you look it up online.
Okay.
I think the reason that they don't is because Pokemon Showdown exists. Okay. It is this weird symbiotic relationship.
Huh.
I don't even know if I'd call it symbiotic because they don't make any money off of this. They can't.
Even if they didn't, man, Nintendo's notorious for just shutting shit down. So
they are.
I'm surprised.
I watched a video recently. I'll have to link it in the show notes, but it's called like why Nintendo hasn't shut down Pokemon Showdown, essentially, because they shut down a lot of fan games. They shut down a lot of emulators. They're notoriously heavy-handed with.
My cousin went to jail for playing Mario Has a Gun in third grade.
May he rest in peace. I think, number one, Pokemon Showdown never asked for money. I think the only thing they do that might earn them some income is there are some small ads on the site.
Oh man, even that I would be afraid.
It's just like banner ads, I think people are so used to seeing ads that you don't even recognize them or you have them blocked. So they're never explicitly asking for money. They don't have a Patreon. So Nintendo doesn't see it or the Pokemon company doesn't see it as like a threat to them financially, I guess. And they are comfortable letting this tool exist because they don't want to make it. Because it would ruin the illusion that they've developed, the like mythos of Pokemon. It makes them not real. And that's okay if somebody else does it.
I see.
It's okay if, there are lots of videos online around Showdown. Those don't ever get like demonetized or shut down or anything. It's just kind of its own thing. And Nintendo's fine with saying like, you do your thing. As long as you stay in your lane, we're gonna be fine. Because despite that, they reap the benefits of it. Because I don't know a single competitive player that doesn't use Showdown. It is like a huge resource that a lot of people rely on. It has tournaments, it has online laddering, it has all of the data. It's usually updated for the new game within like a week, if that. With all of the new mon, it has like some amount of, it uses the models from the games. It's not the, 3D rendered whatever, but they do a decent job of like making it look nice. They have some of the animations from moves, like they go really hard. And Nintendo's like, as long as you don't try and make any money from this thing that you've done for the past 20 years, we'll be fine with it. And they don't want to, the closest thing they've ever done is Pokemon Coliseum, which is like a much a much more limited version of
Mm-hmm.
this, but it is just focused on battling. But there's never a point where you get to like determine the stat distributions
Mm-hmm.
of those Pokemon. You know, it's one of those things that they know it's there. They know people do it, but they don't want to acknowledge it because that ruins their mythos. I've already said that before, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, it ruins the illusion.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's a crazy topic in itself, honestly.
So yeah, shout out to Pokemon Showdown.
Hmm.
Like, in my like stint of competitive play, I wouldn't have ever started if it wasn't for Showdown. I still go on and play every now and then. I'll do some doubles randoms.
Mm-hmm.
Also, slight rant. The only competitive, like the tournaments run by Game Freak are double battles only. Do you know what there are almost none of in the actual story mode of Pokemon?
Really?
There's almost in Scarlet and Violet, I think there were 3. In other games there are more, but there are not very many. The game literally doesn't teach you how to play competitively. And I will stand on this hill. You can fight me on this. Double battles are better than single battles. Double battles rule. They're so much fun. They're faster. You have more synergy with your 2 Pokemon on the field. Double battles are awesome. I wish there was a game where that was the main battle method because they're freaking cool.
It shows you how much I'm out of the Pokemon loop. I didn't know double battles were a thing.
But CJ, they were implemented in Gen 3.
Okay, I think maybe I knew subconsciously they were a thing. I never knew. I thought maybe it was a spin-off game I was seeing or something. I don't know. But I'm watching a competitive play right now on Pokemon Showdown, and they're doing doubles, and it looks more fun than just a one-on-one Pokemon thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean that was always my favorite thing about JRPGs was like having a party, and they all have their role in the party. And I think Pokemon took that away.
Yeah,
maybe one of the reasons I never played it.
I think that single battles are kind of boring, and I really enjoy playing double battles. I do play them on. I'll do a rental team every now and then. I'll like find a PokeTuber who has like made a video about a team they use, and they post the team code online. You know, I'll run through some matches with those, but a lot of times I'll just go do like doubles randoms in Showdown, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Also, they have their own. This is a separate thing, but they have their own system of like ranking and like tiers for Pokemon. That is, you know, kind of the standard in the community. You know, OU, which is overused. UU. There's ways that allow Pokemon that wouldn't otherwise ever be used because they're weak to be used within their own tier.
I see.
Which is really cool. Cool.
That is neat.
So yeah, like, I mean, just I can't imagine the amount of work that goes into keeping something like Showdown running and alive, and I feel like it's a very thankless job. Both from, I'm sure the community is grateful, but Nintendo certainly isn't. The Pokemon company definitely isn't sending them thank you letters in the mail for, you know, giving them all of this attention and revenue and enabling them to have a competitive scene to begin with.
Right.
It's awesome. I dread the day of the servers ever going off online. I think it might be open source. I don't know that for sure. If it is, somebody could theoretically bring it online. I do wonder if the developers were ever to say like, I'm done, if the Pokemon company would feel pressured to come up with their own version of this.
Oh man, there's a $1,000 random battles tournament.
Oh dang, I didn't know that. I didn't know they had cash prize tournaments.
It looks like it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, shout out to Pokemon Showdown, and here's to it not dying ever. Because that, I couldn't imagine playing a fighting game without the resources that the developers themselves have given us.
Right.
So I can see why this is like a must if you want to be a competitive Pokemon player.
Right.
That is crazy.
It's cool. Shout out to them. I think a well-worthy entry in the Hall of Game.
That's not going to work. No. That's the last time you're going to hear that. But yeah. Welcome to the Hall of Game Pokemon Showdown. I hope we do this segment more because I have a lot of games. Like I said in episode 0, there's a lot more to this list, and I'm excited to slowly go through those.
Yeah, I am too.
I think our next episode, I'll have enough brain to write a script. I have a game that I want to add because it spawned a genre, I think.
Oh. Well, I'm excited for that.
No, that's all I will say about that.
Hell yeah.
That's all I got to say about that. All right. Not bad at all.
Mm-mm.
This was a short, sweet little systems in play. We didn't have a script. We just off what dome we got left.
If you liked this, if you're here, hi, welcome to the end of the episode.
Hey, how's it going?
If you made it this far, I'm gonna say that you probably liked the show. Maybe share it with a friend.
Yeah.
Maybe if you can, even if you don't use it, go to like Apple Podcast and leave us a little review, or just give a rating or something. It is always much appreciated. Leave a comment on YouTube, wherever you're at. A little bit of engagement wouldn't hurt. Well, please, sir, a penny for your thoughts.
Spare a farthing. Then genuinely let us know if, because I think this episode was fun.
I had a good
fun
time.
for us, and it was like a little rest for our brains. If you like this kind of episode, we're not going to turn the show into this, but I would like to do more episodes like this that are just, hey, shout out to this game and this mechanic.
Yeah. I think it's fun.
Let us know if you think it's fun, listener.
And then a question of the week was, what's the coolest thing you built in any game with building mechanics?
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that one. Maybe if you have like the opportunity to like upload something to Imgur and post a link, that would be really cool.
Or just post it in our Discord.
Oh yeah, post it in our Discord. I would genuinely love to see the cool stuff that you guys have made. Because I'm sure it is all much better than anything I've done.
Oh yeah. I'll see if I can find something that I've made and post it. I doubt it. I think it's all deleted.
I'll see if I can bring this Xbox 360 back to life and find that bridge and realize that it was even cooler than I remember.
All right, guys. See you next time.
This was Systems in Play. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye. The Pokemon are your friends.
Oh yeah, this fucker right here was hard to catch.